Hi, this is Blake, and I'm doing my orientation assignment where I teach a couple of people on how to do something. And today, since one of my summer jobs is I'm an announcer for a local semi-pro baseball team here in Santa Barbara, I'm going to show the equipment that we use on the road when we're doing road games to broadcast, because we have to do it through a phone line at the other team's stadium, and we use this piece of equipment that's called a FlipJack. And I have my headphones right here, and it goes through a phone line. So we're going to teach my friends John and Kristen how to use this. The way I plan this out is that usually when I'm in a rush to get things going and working before a game, I'll just plug everything in a random order because I've done it so many times, but I kind of want to be a little more methodical about it with them, and so they understand it easier and they know kind of what it does. So I'm going to go over why we use it and what exactly it does, then go through the parts real quick, then have them plug it in, then they're going to check if it works, and then I'll ask them for questions and we'll go from there. So here we go. This is John and Kristen, and we're going to teach them, we're going to teach you guys today how to use this radio equipment. As you guys know, I'm a broadcaster for a baseball team, and when we're at home, we can just use this box that's called a Marty, and it transmits the signal right from the press box to the radio station. But when we're on the road, we don't know where we're going to be. We go to Wichita, Kansas, we go everywhere, so we need to be able to dial in and broadcast from the road as well. So we do that by going through a phone line that I have to commandeer at the visiting team stadium. They almost all have a phone line that I can go through. So what we use, we could just go through that phone line and take their phone and call in like we're a caller on a talk show, right? If I called in to Rush Limbaugh or something, or Dr. Laura, and just called in and used the phone, it'd sound like I'm calling in, but we want it to be a little clearer, right? And so we use this thing called the FlipJack as like a filter to make it clear going through. And it also allows us to use headphones so we can keep our box score and keep our notes while we're broadcasting. Any questions?
No.
Okay, so here we have the phone line from the, say we're at a visiting stadium, this would be the phone line, and we're going to use that as our way to connect to the station. And then we have our FlipJack, and then we have our headphones, and that's all we need. So the FlipJack is running on battery power right now. It can plug in or do it on battery power. I like to plug it in because sometimes on battery power it's not very trusty. And you don't want it to go out in the middle of a broadcast. So you have these parts in front of you, and what we want to do first is we want to get the headphones hooked into the FlipJack. So Kristen, if you could take this one right here, this goes into the front of the FlipJack, and it's where the input is for the sound, so you plug it right in that first one there, right? So you're in headphone jack number one. Now John, take this part, and this goes into the meter in the back here. See how that fits? Alright, so plug that in. Now, we want to press the on button. John, go ahead and press the on button for me. So we're there to go. John, go ahead and put the headphones on. And then, of course, what are we missing here connection-wise?
The phone cord.
We haven't plugged it into the phone cord. So what we're going to do, Kristen, go ahead and unplug this phone cord. And then try to see where on the FlipJack that might fit. I think if you check the back, you can move the FlipJack over.
Right here.
Alright, so there's a little slot for it, so put it on in there. Does it fit? Oh, that's upside down, so the other way. Alright, so it clicks right in there. Got it?
Got it.
Clicked.
Yep.
And then what we want now, we need to call up the radio station so the signal can filter through. So, John, I'm going to pick up the phone here and raise your right hand when you hear the dial tone, okay? You hear it in there? So, now, hypothetically, say we want to call the radio station. I would dial a number, and let's just dial my cell phone number and you'll hear it ringing. So, pretend that this is the radio station hotline number. You hear it ringing? Okay, so then there would be an operator at the other side of the board picking up in the radio station. and you can talk from there. So now talk into the microphone and see if you can hear your own voice into the headphones.
Hello? Hello?
And if Kristen turns the volume knob here, can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
If Kristen turns the volume knob,
Hello? 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 Hello?
it gets a lot louder, right?
Hello? It's bad, no.
So great.
Yeah.
So that's basically how we do it. You just need to find the phone line, and you need to test it out and do a sound check, and then you're good to go. And the board operator will patch you right through for the radio, and you're ready. So to take it apart, it's just like plugging it back in. We unplug here. We unplug the phone line, put it back in the phone, of course, and unplug this, pack it up, and make sure that everything's safe. And yeah, anybody have any questions about that?
Uh-huh.
No.
Could you do it right now if I told you to set it up?
That's
Yeah.
alright.
Alright, good. Hey, so I just finished watching my video of teaching my friends John and Kristen how to use the radio equipment and the flip jack that I use when we have an away game with the baseball team. And I thought I did a pretty good job, but looking back at it, there are definitely some things I noticed after playing it back for myself. I feel like, yeah, I made it interactive in that I was like telling them what to plug in where, but I didn't leave enough of the guesswork and thought process up to them. I felt like I was just telling them what to do, and they did it. And I said, any questions? There was one part towards the end where I said, made them think, you know. I said, okay, well, we have these things hooked up, but what part of the connection are we missing? And John immediately said, well, we're missing the phone connection. So that was getting him to think about it instead of just telling him, put this here, put this here. And he had to think, okay, what are we missing, and go through everything that's hooked up. And we were missing the fact that the flip jack and headphones were not plugged into the phone line. So it was good. He was understanding what I was saying, and that sort of helped both sides, I think. But overall, I felt like I just talked too much on my own, and like maybe should have made sure that they were along the same thought process instead of just asking any questions, making sure they were there every step of the way. Anyway, if that makes sense. I also just explained one knob, and up close there are 5 knobs on the flip jack, and I should have explained all of them and what goes to what. But otherwise, you know, I thought it was okay, and there's going to be lots of room for improvement. So I'm excited to see where I end up at the end of all this.